It's only a matter of time, isn't it? White and nerdy. They see me roll on my Segway. I know in my heart they think I'm white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna bowl with the gangsters. Although it's apparent I'm too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really, really white and first in my class. Here at MIT. Got skills. I'm a champion in D&D. MC, that's my favorite MC. Keep your 40L dressed. Have an Earl Grey tea. My rims never spin to the contrary. You'll find they're quite stationary. All of my action figures are cherry. Stephen Hawking's in my library. My MySpace pages all totally pimped out. Got people begging for my top 8 spaces. Yo, I apply to 1,000 places. Ain't got no grills, but I still wear braces. I order all of my sandwiches with mayonnaise. I'm a whiz at my sweeper. I could play for days. Once you see my moves, you're gonna stay amazed. My fingers moving so fast, I'll set the place to blaze. There's no killer app I haven't run. At Pascal, well, I'm number 1. I do vector calculus just for fun. I ain't got a gap, but I got a soldering gun. Happy days in my favorite theme song. I can sure kick your butt at a game of ping pong. At least any trivia quiz you bring on. I'm fluent in JavaScript as well as Klingon. They see me roll on, they see me mowing my front lawn. I know in my heart they think I'm white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. How to get so white and nerdy? I've been browsing, inspecting X-Men comics. You know I collect in the pens in my pocket. I must protect them. My ergonomic keyboard never leaves me bored. Shopping on life for deals of some writable media. I edit Wikipedia. I memorize Holy Grail really well. I can recite it right now. And MEROTFLOL. I got a business doing websites. When my friends need some code, who do they call? I do HTML for them all. Even made a homepage for my dog. Yo, I got myself a fanny pack. They were having a sale down at the Gap. Spent 9 nights with a roll of bubble wrap. Hope, pop, pop, hope no one sees me. Get freaky. I'm nerdy in the extreme. I'm whiter than sour cream. I was in AV Club and Glee Club and even the chess team. Only question I ever thought was hard was, do I like Kirk or do I like Picard? Spent every weekend at the Renaissance Fair. Got my name on my underwear. They see me strolling. They laughing. I know. No, cause they all think that I'm white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Holy cow, I'm white and nerdy. I think I'll just leave it there. And a great big hey, howdy, hey to all my goofy goobers out there. Welcome back to Animanic Commentaries with Comic Ozzy, all on his own tonight. Unfortunately, DF's not feeling too well, and we're just gonna have to go ahead and continue forward with tonight's offerings. As you can probably read at the top of the description, or even just by the title alone, we're gonna be watching 3 Disney cartoons. So grab your DVD sets or grab your Disney Plus account, wink, 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 and we'll go ahead and start watching the cartoon collection with Lonesome Ghosts. Now this cartoon is a classic. It's probably one of my favorites from this era of Mickey Mouse, released in 1937. And the Disney Plus description is actually in front of me. I'll read it. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy run a ghost exterminating agency. I wonder how well that's gonna pan out. But I think this cartoon definitely, I'd say it holds up really well just from the gags. There's not a lot of problematic shit in it, like at all. I mean, let's be fair. There's plenty of problematic shit in plenty of old Disney cartoons, and those cartoons aren't on Disney Plus. So if there was anything problematic in this short, then it wouldn't have even made it to Disney Plus. Which you know, should say something about the quality thereof. I'm gonna go ahead and get the player up. And I'm gonna go back to 10 seconds, the restart button. All right. And as everybody's probably gonna be set up similar to this is what we're up against. So everyone go ahead and hit, it says contains tobacco depictions. Well, yeah, I mean, come on. So does 101 Dalmatians. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and begin in 3, 2, 1, smile! Ooh, the cartoon's loud in my ears. I need to turn the sound down. There we go. This is the Car-K radio pictures. This is the burlap. We call this the burlap title card because of the burlap background. And the Lonesome Ghosts. It's really spooky looking. Now, would it surprise anyone if this was in some capacity like concept art for the Haunted Mansion? Honestly, I think some versions of the Haunted Mansion had that kind of vibe in the concept arts. God, the effects that they're able to pull off, like, good lord. You can see through him. They're even, like, applying effects to their voices to make them sound like they're on the other side, as it were. And, slightly less complicated is the, white outlines on their noses, which, honestly, like, all you really need is just, like, you kind of just need, like, a painting pen. That's a funny little gaff there. Little pants off them. Ajax Coast Exterminators. Ajax, right along with Acme, pretty common business that makes things. Ajax was actually used in Bugs Bunny's short, where he's the bullfighter, the matador. And he had the Ajax glue. It's really interesting. Listen to her. It's like, I do declare. I bet the animators really had fun just animating these motherfuckers. A little bit of an error there where they didn't apply the effect to the voice there. Yes, indeed, a customer. Oh boy, here they come. You know, you say that, Squad, but I like, fuck, what was his name? The original guy. He was like Paul or Peter something. Peter Kolvig, that's right. I like his goofy voice. All the world knows me, I love him. Anyway, I love how he just like, hey, we're here for the thing we were, I love that. It's so good. I think some people have grown accustomed to Donald Duck's voice and actually can understand him even without the subtitles. You gotta listen for the right sounds. Oof. What is that? Was that for the ghost mice? I wonder. I like how Goofy's eyes are like the kind of the Sonic the Hedgehog thing where it's like just one like singular like eye, you know, just kind of fused together in the middle. And again, the way they're able to do that, I believe it has to be a mask. And I've talked about masks before, like, or like a matte, where basically they have to film it in all black but with this, and then they have to film it with this completely white to expose the film. You know, it's like we double expose the film is basically what they do in order to create a matte. That's how it works. And that's probably also how they're able to get the ghosts to be see-through. Because you'll notice, one of my favorite things to talk about is celluloid drop shadow, but the ghosts don't appear to have any celluloid drop shadow, which definitely implies that they are, like, being implemented onto the background art in a different manner than the rest of the characters. It's like even independently of the shattering dishes there. In fact, I think you could notice where the film was double exposed because there was an error lining the animation up briefly back there, which is really cool. You know, it's not like, oh gods, what kind of error is that? It's like it's more just like you really feel like they actually. And see, there it is again. It's kind of blurry there. Like they didn't line it up properly. I mean, yeah, you really got him, Donald. You actually knocked him right in the face. Man, those errors, the lining up. Damn. It is. Well, is it really all that fine? There he goes. Yeah, that's a line I come back to whenever I want to do Goofy's voice. Like, oh, I'm brave, but I'm careful. Like, if I want to do classic Goofy voice, that's the da 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 da. I mean, somebody else was gonna do it if I didn't do it first. I do love also just how absolutely over the top this animation is. Like, you think of like 1937. This would have been like a year after Snow White. Like, the animation in Snow White, even on the dwarfs, is very like, you know, is a little more grounded and realistic. But this animation is absolutely bonkers and off the wall, you know? Like, it could almost rival any of the Warner Brothers shorts coming out at around the same time. There certainly is. Just the wheels turning in his head. And to anyone who's been to Disneyland recently, when you go to the Mickey's Runaway Railway, they have a museum exhibit at the front. Like the Mickey Mouse through the ears. And they actually have this dresser and mirror set from Lonesome Ghosts in there, and occasionally a ghost will appear in the mirror. He certainly is. Ow. Whoop. Look at him go. Goofy. You gotta quit putting your foot in your... Ah, his face went blue. Just think the animators really knew exactly how to make this as funny as possible. That's fucking... And they're at it again. Prankish spirits have interrupted our cartoon. Molasses, flour, and syrup, the whole 9 yards. Yep. Because if there's anything ghosts are scared of more than anything, it's haunting a house that's already being haunted. And that was Lonesome Ghosts. And now it's recommending Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Yes, because after a horrifying feature like that, my first instinct is to watch Mickey Mouse fucking Clubhouse. But what a fun short, right? Because at the end of the night, it's just a delightful, cute little cartoon that just has a lot of good sight gags. The way they break the floorboards into ice, and now there's like a little pool of water. The swimming around. There, Goofy thinks the buttons on his blue pants are the eyes of a blue ghost, and it's like it's just. And I mean, like, if this were Pac-Man, that might have worked, buddy, but nope. But no. At the end of the night, that one's a real fun one. But yeah. No, definitely one of my favorites. I still like to come back to it every now and again, just because of all the like, oh, I'm brave, but I'm careful. Like, again, if I'm doing Goofy's voice, I don't go Bill Farmer. I go Peter Kolvig, and I go to that line. I'm brave, but I'm careful. You know. But yeah, now we're gonna move on to our next short, the second of 3 shorts in the night. So, 1 down, 2 to go. We're going to be covering the 1952 short Trick or Treat. The Disney Plus description says, Donald plays a trick on his nephews, but a witch helps them out. That is so bad. That is such a terrible description. And what I mean is, by a terrible description, I don't mean that it's not what happens at the cartoon. But it's just a bad description. Like, where's the flavor? interest me in this. It's like Donald plays tricks on his nephews, but a witch helps him. It's like, yeah, it sounds lazy. It's like when Donald's nephews come for a treat, when his nephews come for a tantalizing treat, Donald plays a terrible trick. Donald plays a terrible trick. But a kindly witch might help them get his in the end, or something a little more clever, something a little more 1950s. Give me something a little more interesting, because the cartoon short, like this short is really interesting. Like in the last short we had like a lot of fun spooky ghosts and shit, but now we get to enjoy that. We get to have a witch, we get to have a musical, not like a full musical, but we get a couple of songs. We get like a couple of songs in this. And they're a lot of fun. They're fun little numbers. So without any further ado, I think we should probably just get into it. So let me just go ahead and hit the pause button, hit the restart so that it goes all the way back to 0 seconds. And then as soon as everybody's ready, we'll go ahead and talk about the cartoon and its animation immediately as we begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Trick or treat for Halloween. We give a treat that's good to eat if you want to keep life serene. Trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat the whole night through. Little scalawags with fiendish gags can make it tough on you. So, Yale Gracie, layout and background. That makes so much sense. Yale Gracie was responsible for the scarier parts and special effects in the Haunted Mansion. Yeah, actually, actually, that was a different guy who was responsible for it being scary. But Yale Gracie was like a special effects supervisor. So on like a lot of Disney attractions, but particularly the Haunted Mansion, like Yale Gracie was definitely the wizard behind that whole attraction. And remember what I was saying about like white lines on celluloid? Well, now we got like colored lines. Colored ink is not terribly difficult when you really look for it. Now that's a scream. That scream came from Snow White. When the witch fell off the cliff. And the nephews back in the day were just also voiced by Clarence Nash. There was no distinction. Actually, there is a little distinction. They actually pitch it up a little bit. They kind of do the Daffy Duck and Tweety Bird trick. Because if you didn't know, the original Daffy Duck voice was actually like they used pitching up tricks. Where they just, sped it up. Made it sound a little... And God, what a nasty trick. And God, Donald is being a real asshole in this. It's interesting you mentioned that, Squad, because the Disney short preceded the Warner short, but yeah, Beelzebub. Off she goes. All right. And yes, it is June Foray playing this witch as well. I don't even think Disney would have used this character past this cartoon. I think Warner Brothers definitely had more to do with that character, with their version of a witch. I love the broom's characterization. It's just so fun. It's such a curious little broom. And I also love how her face changes color. Just a lot of that's just a lot of fun. Woo. I mean, when you ask for whiskers, that does look like a mustache. Why did they steal that mustache from a poor goat? Do you know how hard it is for a goat to grow a mustache? And just a little... And here's a little moonshine joke for you. And so's your cellular drop shadow. I guess when you got this many characters on screen, you kind of need multiple cells. Except for that, because the characters were all animated together. You're close, Donald. I think you might want to search a little deeper down. And here's the main use of the song right here. And here's her witch's brew to play little tricks on Donald. It just gets him right in the face. And this is really nice. And the song is just really cute and clever. Like they do all these little visuals. What does it mean for your gate to circulate? Well, let's show you. We'll show you what it means. Yeah, turning the posts into like bedsheet ghosts was really, really clever. Yes. Everything. Uh-oh. And you made a mistake. And it's really fast. You just can't even see him do it. He has to point out. Otherwise, you just can't understand a word this duck says. Probably since you dumped a bucket of water on her head. Put a spell on him. And now he's hers. Ooh, careful of that. That's basically red and blue flashing. Oof. Watch out on that. Oh, yeah. Man, like, those feet are going right up there, aren't they? And here we go. God, look at the snap on the feet. Like, the way that they overshoot. It's just really good. It also just seems so appropriate for her to be doing this kind of song. Yep. Man, this poor duck. This poor bastard. That's amazing. That is spectacular. And off it goes. And the hair flying off like it's a friggin' wig. Ooh, you gotta be worried when it goes from cyan to magenta. Where, like, this is Mario Kart rules. You're gonna be going super fast. This is a great line read. God, that's such a great line read. God rest her little black soul. Why did I say it like that? And her little green eyes. And the broom coming in. A little late for that, pal. Ah, yes. Yep. And this men's choir might actually be the Mellow Men, which is a group that included Thurl Ravenscroft. But yeah, what a delightful little short, honestly. And again, why with the Mickey Mouse Club house? I don't understand. But what a wonderful little cartoon. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, Trick or Treat might actually be Like, I mean, it is. I mean, and just in terms of like the storytelling, like, it is the better cartoon. Like, it feels like it has a proper through line. The conclusion feels really solid. And it's like, you really want to see Donald get it, you know? It's like, they do a good job at making Donald, like, just enough of an asshole that you don't hate him, but you do want to see him really get it in the end, you know? So, but yeah, no, I think definitely a delightful little cartoon. Yeah. Makes about as much sense as recommending Bluey after The Fox and the Hound. Yeah, one can only wonder why Disney Plus makes these recommendations. It's just absolutely bizarre. It's absolutely bonkers. But it is such a nice little cartoon, you know? It's fun from beginning to end. I love all the Halloweenisms. They're just really fun. And, you know, honestly, would we have it any other way? I don't think so. I don't think we would. Just such a wonderful little... Just such a wonderful little cartoon. So now we're going to be watching the scariest story ever, a Mickey Mouse Halloween Spooktacular. And this is by far, maybe not the most recent Halloween cartoon they've ever done, but definitely a more recent one, all the way from the year 2017. This is created by and set in the same continuity as the Paul Rudish brand of Mickey Mouse shorts that started in 2013, and the wonderful world of Mickey Mouse as well. This one, unlike our previous ones, is also much longer, instead of comprising like their own individual little stories, like we're gonna hunt ghosts, or we're gonna trick that, we're gonna get some treats from that trickster one way or another. Here we have Mickey Mouse telling a scary story on Halloween, which is what the Disney Plus description says. Again, like your Disney Plus, your descriptions could be significantly better. Anyway, I'm pretty sure a Wikipedia synopsis of this cartoon is better than that. Anyway, but, so, yeah. This one comes from the, and as everybody probably knows, this animation studio, everybody knows Wander Over Yonder Season 1, I keep bringing it up, or even like Jake and the Neverland Pirates, or, fucking, what's that other show, the Lion Guard. We have the animation team of, the Canadian animation studio Mercury Filmworks, who do incredible shit, as you are all about to witness, because this is really fucking good, all right? Like, just insanely good. Just some of the best, like, cartoon animation in our time, you know? Actually, I think Mercury Filmworks also worked on Centaur World. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mercury Filmworks also worked on... Yes, they also did Hilda and Molly McGee. Yes, so you guys already know how good their animation is. But let's go ahead and see how fantastic and probably the most horrifying cartoon we'll see tonight. Legitimately. And we'll begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Do. Executive producers, supervising directors. And the hands as the clouds is actually a reference to the Sleepy Hollow short from Mr. Ichabod and Mr. Toad. The shadows being what they are is really, really great. It's a giant lizard kaiju. And also we have the late great Rissy Taylor doing not only the voice of Minnie Mouse, but also the nephews. Like she started doing the nephews' voices sometime around like DuckTales, the original DuckTales. And she just does a really good like ducky voice, but that also sounds really young. And then fucking Chernabog. And the animation's a lot of fun. The art direction. These pumpkins are really nice. Eddie Trigueros. Dave Wasson. Now, you might know that name. He actually worked on a lot of these Mickey Mouse shorts, and he went on to work on the Cuphead show. So he was actually very familiar with this, like, classic cartoons characters vibe. It doesn't look much worse than the Haunted Mansion, though. Candy, candy. Let's pool our assets, boys. Or, you know... They got a lot of good gags. And that's Tress MacNeille, I believe, who also does Daisy. Yep. Yep. I know. Now, what's really fun is, like, when you can see, there's some instances, like, you'll see, like, it's like an animation, like the last two cartoons. You'll see whenever something moves, you'll see boiling lines. What that is that you can tell that the line is a new line. It had to be redrawn every time. Whereas here, we use digital tools, and so what they can do is they can just, like, what they did there is, like, when he was shaking his fist, it was just the same arm and fist drawing. They didn't draw anything new, they just puppeted it around. And the way Mercury Film Works uses, like, these, like, liquefying tools and also drawing a lot of shit anyway. Like, sure, there are puppets and rigs for these characters, but they draw a lot of new stuff. Like, you'll notice, like, damn, like, these facial expressions, they feel so unique to these specific, like the way they've drawn him there. I'm sure they can work with the rigs, they can play with the rigs, and then they can sometimes just draw something new and attach it to the rig. Like a new facial expression, or like just new hands, arms, and feet just for different angles. For stuff that the puppet doesn't already have. God. I love the contrast of Donald's still blue eyes and Goofy's still yellow eyes in this black and white environment. And also something that these cartoon directors and animations tend to do is integrating 3D really well. That's really good. The background art is spectacular. The whole cartoon's background art aesthetic was kind of borrowed from, like, 101 Dalmatians, and it gives it such a nice distinct look all its own as they kind of developed it independently, and it's just really good. I love how gnarly they make him look, and then just I also forget how funny this one is. Yeah, do the Charleston. Yeah, the brain and the goop. And now we're getting a lot of color. But the characters are still perfectly in black and white minus their eyes. And now he's got some color. And the hump. God. God. I think it's a good point to mention that Chris Diamantopoulos is the voice of Mickey Mouse in these cartoons. And he's just really, really good. Yeah, they're just fed up. Yep, that's the commercial break moment. Now we're back to this. Now this definitely looks like the standard Mickey puppet for this shot. I recognize that nose from earlier. Yeah, and off he goes. Yes, he is wearing the Super Goof costume. You are correct. You better watch your phraseology, Goofy. And here we go. It's like all you need to do is just animate his mouth. Ooh, the red. The red in the sky. Really setting the tone here. Bum bum. I love the contrast. We in like there's hope. We pan down to the blue forest. I love these names. It's great. and the horrifying amalgamorphs. It's just great. God. They're just done with their shit. Also, absolutely love how Mickey Mouse's little yodeler costume, just the sunflower, is one of his ears. Is just great. It really is covering it. It's just nice. Oh, Lord. Off he goes. God, how many people did he have to kill to make this maze? Just, yeah, done with this shit. Yep. Yep. And you just see like these transitions aren't even like morphing. They just kind of bounce and then and then they replace the whole character. And you don't notice because you just create a bounce and then you create an overshoot and then you just bounce and overshoot. It's so good. Oh God. Who knew that werewolves were allergic to hot sauce? Great. Yeah. Can't. Donald just has no chill. I'm sorry, Drake McQuack has absolutely no chill. And just look at them walk up there. You can see a lot of it. They just reuse the same boots and they just use like the warping tool. Ugh. Yeah, save that for... Oh, never mind. Now, I'm not certain how it's done, but like there's like something in Toon Boom that they use so that whenever Mickey crosses over with like a black background or something, that he automatically... that they can turn on like a gray outline around him. It's just really nice. A gray outline that only goes around the black parts like the ear and his arms and stuff like that. That's such a good little gag. Ha. Ooh. Oh boy. Yep. And burnt to a crisp. Two little puncture wounds. Is that how he managed to run away with Mrs. Johnson? And they're just backing out. Who the hell was handing out tomatoes and eggs on Halloween? Goofy's giant hand. Yep. It's so... Oh god, they've gone feral. Oh god. Goofy, thanks. And look, there's one of the busts that always looks at you in the Haunted Mansion that was back there by the kitchen door. Oh boy. Oh god. You probably haven't been unnerved yet, but how about now? That's an expression that I'd find funny in pretty much any other cartoon, but this is getting kind of nerve-wracking. Eddie Chirgueros was one of the directors on this cartoon. He was also a storyboard artist, and if you've ever seen storyboards from Eddie Chirgueros, he's perfect for a spooky shit. Nay, terrifying shit. But this is great. Yeah, Runaway Brain. We should talk. We should discuss that short at some point. But here we go. Bunch of little gremlins. Ooh. You hold your tongue there, ducky. That's another, and this is another thing that Toon Boom is good at doing, is using textured outlines. And I noticed that they have a boiling effect on them. Now, if they did that on the animated characters, that'd be really interesting. It's like really almost convince you that they're like hand drawn. But you've only got 4 feathers on your hands. Oh god. That is such a good animation. And the thing you don't think about, though, is that there's like 11 layers of drawings in that. Like, cause like, it's not just the mouth and the cheeks, and like, it's like the mouth and it's the mouth line, it's the mouth line top, mouth line bottom, teeth. Like, if you've ever seen VTube models being built, it's exactly like that. Like building a puppet even for one shot is very intensive. I should know. I've done that shit. Look at the Brony Monster Big Ball Bouncing Birthday Bash Ballooniversary. Those are more simplistic puppets, but it's still puppetry in a way. Everything's redrawn for everything. There's no actual puppets being used, but it's puppetry in its, like, you know, most tangible form that I've done, really. Actually, that's how a lot of my animations had gone. So I can definitely speak from how puppets work, because I'm familiar with the process of puppeting drawings around. God. Oof. Yeah, they did a really good job at hiding that one. Ooh. And they really do a good job at hiding the CGI half the time, because they're able to texture it really well and blend it in. Like, so much so it's like, are half of these backgrounds even like 2D, right? Like, most of them might even be just 3D, just so that they could get different angles of the background art. God, like, literally. Like, when was the last time Disney legitimately got this terrifying? Legitimately horrifying. Nowhere to run. I get that. Kind of makes me think of the Sleepy Hollow short. Like, that was probably a big inspiration for a lot of the spooky shit going on here. The atmosphere. Well, good to see where your loyalties lie, Huey. Ooh, God. He really likes that animation trick. They did that with Mickey Mouse not like 5 minutes ago or so. If you didn't think a pie could be scary. Oh. Okay. And this transformation is a lot more, like, robust than the wolves from earlier. Like, they really... And you can thank Eddie Trigueros for these drawings. Then the animators, then there's a cleanup specialist who does clean lines on it, and then the animators take that clean line version and they just puppet it around. Sometimes they'll draw some extra drawings for it, but for the most part, that's what they're doing. They're drawing things based on the storyboards. They're just like sometimes it's outright traced because the drawings are so good that the storyboard artists do. But there is usually a cleanup specialist who handles that process so that it's more on model and in the artistic style that they're going for. Man. And now for the end of the cartoon, we just have a minute straight of this nonsense. And that's the song from the beginning playing in the score. Yep. Yep. There you are. There you guys are. And you thought we were done with the joke? Just absolutely. Rusty Taylor, may God rest her soul. but like absolutely delightful short. Animation production, Mercury Filmworks, like they're so good. They're really, really good. Like, I was talking about, like, Lonesome Ghosts and how really zippy and awesome that animation is. And yeah, and like, if we just go back to Lonesome Ghosts, you know? If we go back to Lonesome Ghosts, and then we look at it side by side with this, we can see where this gets it from. Because the thing is, like, you have to have the more wacky animation of Lonesome Ghosts than any other Disney animation at the time, and then that leads into Trick or Treat, and then we get all the way up to this point. Sure, it's not Disney Animation Studios, but Disney laid the groundwork for a lot of the techniques that are used in animation. You know, like Udi and all the other Nine Old Men, they really established, like, I mean, it was Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, God rest their souls, who really established these rules. And the Mickey Mouse Funhouse this time, even less fitting, because, like, I think the best recommendation after this would be Nightmare Before Christmas, because if we're gonna recommend something after this, it's gotta be some more scary shit. It's like, but no, we need levity. Yeah, okay, but, like, at the same time, maybe I'm in a scary mood, you know? It's weird. But, honestly, I liked their cameo in The Iron Giant, which we'll eventually cover both of those at some point. Not at the same time, but anyway. But yeah, no, Mickey Mouse Halloween Spooktacular. Like, Mercury Filmworks pretty much borrows everything from, like, I'd have to say, they borrow everything from, like, Warner Brothers and Aladdin and shit. Like, their aesthetic of animation is so fucking recommend Ghost and Molly McGee. Yeah, you can have levity and it's still morbid. So that'd be fun. But yeah, it's like this, like the groundwork had been laid. Like I love that we went all the way back from Lonesome Ghosts to this, because it really just shows how far it's come, you know? Because it's not just that, you know, it's not just that, oh, like, different animation studios are doing so much better, like, than anything else, like, even Disney, but it's like, no, it's like, the groundwork was laid out, and we really see that in these 3 spooky shorts, and honestly, yeah, it's just a delight, pure delight. I can't think of any other way to say it, because it's just fun, unadulterated fun, and I honestly wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. But I suppose this very, very scary Halloween short must lead into what we do next week. Yes. So we're about to wrap this up. Everyone say your farewells so that Cuphead and Mugman can read them off. And tomorrow, next week, but next week, we'll begin the real spooky shit. The real horrifying horrors. We watch Spookily the Square Pumpkin. Anyway, thank y'all so much for joining me on this spooktacular Halloween adventure. And if you're viewing this after the fact, thanks for watching. Hope you had a real treat. And until next time, remember to take care, stay safe, and be kind in all that you boo. Good night, everybody.